Hey guys, it's Red here, bringing you a slight review of the Fantastic Four First Steps trailer because it's only 2 minutes long. They don't give you much for a first trailer, and then I will talk about Marvel as a whole and Disney for a little bit. So they constantly do the stupid thing where they give away a huge secret in the movie and the trailers, which is that Susan Storm is pregnant. They could have made that a secret, but they've constantly been doing this thing where they just spoil it in the trailers. So normally I don't watch trailers anymore, but because I don't intend to see any recent Marvel movies, might as well watch the trailer. Pedro Pascal is Reed Richards, which I don't think is a good fit. I thought John Krasinski made a perfect Reed Richards, even though the script for Multiverse of Madness was terrible. And my third problem with this trailer is that they've brought in a female Silver Surfer, which is a thing in the comics, but it's not a popular character because if you have a Silver Surfer, you want it to be Norrin Reed or Norrin Rad, sorry. That is a thing in the comics, but if you want a Silver Surfer, you want it to be Norrin Rad because he's the iconic one. He's the one that has the most comics about, so it's easier to get a sense of his character. And if you're doing Galactus and his heralds, you could have focused on a different one instead of the Silver Surfer. There's multiple ones to choose from, and it would have been cool to see some of these other ones in the spotlight of MCU. And some of them are female to begin with, so I don't know why they just like gender swapped Silver Surfer. So those are my three big issues with the trailer. I have heard that they are doubling down with the DEI in this movie, and so I don't expect it to be good at all because normally when they focus on DEI, they don't focus on the story, and so the story makes no sense as far as the characters go. And so let's talk about Marvel a bit now and Disney. They have been, for the past few years, just making movies that haven't been performing well. And I don't know how they can continue to do this when every movie they came out with is one flop after another, with the exception of Deadpool and Wolverine, which was more of a standalone thing instead of being part of the MCU, but it was only standalone because Ryan Reynolds and the directors of that fought back a lot to keep it that way instead of bringing in DEI. There was a huge talk about Brie Larson and the other actor who plays She-Hulk being cameos in it and how they were going to do this whole woke spiel with Deadpool. They got cut, which I greatly appreciate. I don't think that would have been good for the movie at all. Anyway, if you want me to review some of these movies, like my biggest pet peeve with Marvel has been Ant-Man Quantumania. That's the one that's stuck in my head as the worst movie they've ever made, and I may do a YouTube video explaining why. Along with Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness, I thought it was bad. Not as bad as Captain Marvel. And then another one I would like to do, if this does take off, is Spider-Man No Way Home. Because even though when I watched it, I really loved the movie, when I think back to all the stuff that happened in that movie, how none of it makes sense and is stupid for the character and for the MCU as a whole. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I might do a longer form one if you'd like it.